Hey guys, what's up? It's Clay. Today I'm doing a video on 5 reasons why you should check out Star Wars: The Clone Wars, whether it be on Disney Plus or if you check out the DVDs of seasons 1 through 6. But the reason I wanted to do this video is because season 7 has been on Disney Plus, and I haven't started watching season 7 yet because I'm still finishing up rewatching the original 6 seasons of the series. But I kind of wanted to do this because Last Jedi, or Rise of Skywalker, sorry, just came out on DVD. And I'm really in a Star Wars mood now because I have been rewatching the Clone Wars, and Rise of Skywalker's out, so I've been thinking a lot about Star Wars lately. So reason number 1 for why you should check out Star Wars: The Clone Wars, I guess the basic and simplest answer is it's Star Wars. So if you're a fan of Star Wars, you should check it out just because it is Star Wars. Now, a lot of Star Wars stuff nowadays isn't as good as most Star Wars fans would like, but the Clone Wars is not one of those. The Clone Wars has been a great series. I really enjoyed it back when it was on Cartoon Network, on TV, as it showed every season as it aired. But I have seasons 1 through 6 on DVD now. But Star Wars, for me, it means something different for everybody. And for me, I love Star Wars, and I will watch anything Star Wars pretty much, even if I don't like it, even if I hear bad opinions on it. Attack of the Clones isn't my favorite, but I still have it. I still try to rewatch it as much as I can, because it is Star Wars, and it is canon, and it's part of the Star Wars lore, so anything that happens in the Clone Wars is part of the Star Wars universe. And so with that being said, it's Star Wars and it fits into that, so that's kind of the main reason you have to watch it, especially if you're someone who likes to learn and kind of study from different things to get to get better at remembering Star Wars and learning about Star Wars and being part of the fandom of Star Wars. So reason number 1 was because it's Star Wars, you should check it out. Now, reason number 2 is it has great character development for newer characters. It really makes you feel attached to certain new characters, and it makes you want to, side with that character. It introduces us to Ahsoka Tano, who is Anakin Skywalker's Padawan. It introduces us to a lot of the different clone troopers and really gives backstories on new characters, and it's really great at doing that when it introduces a new character that we may have seen but not heard a lot about. It goes into great detail at telling us who this person is, why they should or shouldn't be important, why we should or shouldn't care about this person. And so that's one of the reasons I really feel captivated by watching the Clone Wars, because it does, when it introduces you to more characters, it tells you, this person is important and you should like this person for these reasons, without actually telling you that. So it's really good at doing that, and that's what any good TV show or movie should be able to do, is to help build up new characters. Because, we can't always have Star Wars with the main characters. There has to be other people involved too. And so, especially with a series like this that goes a long period of time, there's going to be other people introduced, and there's some characters you don't care about, and there's other characters that you don't want anything to happen to because you're just so in love with that character, and the Clone Wars is really good at doing that. And on that note, reason number 3 for you to watch it is because it does great character development for previous characters as well. where Anakin's chosen one storyline really comes back into play. He ends up learning how to control both light and dark sides of the Force when he meets the father, the son, and the sister. The sister represents the good side of the Force, the brother represents the evil side, and the father is the balance. And when the father gets killed, Anakin has to control both of them. And so they really play on this character storyline for Anakin. We learn a lot about Palpatine being evil, because there's different scenes where we see a lot of that, and we're introduced in Revenge of the Sith to General Grievous, who we never really learned about, until the Clone Wars, where it gives a backstory on General Grievous for the most part, and actually shows you a lot of Grievous. And another one is the storyline between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan. We all know what happened in Phantom Menace when Obi-Wan kills Darth Maul by cutting him in half, when in reality he didn't actually kill Darth Maul. He cut him in half, and Maul somehow survived and ends up holding a grudge and becoming more evil because he wants revenge on Obi-Wan. And so the fact that they're able to build that storyline up even farther in the Clone Wars really, to me, is pretty impressive, because they used stuff that you might not have thought was gonna come back into play in the franchise, and they allowed it to build a new storyline for a new series. Reason number 4 for you to want to watch the Clone Wars is because it overall is just well written, well directed, I guess. The animation in it is really, unique, and really kind of cool how they were able to do so much in animation style, because it is, an animated series. But it's really fun to watch. The characters, they have them all with their own unique personalities, and to see, characters like Obi-Wan and Anakin and Padme and Jar Jar and 3PO and R2, all these characters that we know from the Star Wars franchise, being in animation or cartoon form, it's kind of neat to see. And again, with introducing the new characters and stuff, all this animation, and just seeing how they can make animated characters look either similar or maybe even sometimes better than how they may have looked in the original series, just goes to show you how well it was written. And on that note, the storylines for the overall series, where they show the Jedi going to different planets and getting into different situations, and it wasn't all just focused on, the battle between the Republic and the Separatists. There was little side quests in between, and it was just a really fun time, and it really held you to that, I want to know what happens, and you'd be watching an episode, and then it would come to an end, and you'd have to wait until next week to find out what happens. And it's it made you want to keep watching. And like I said before, with the character development, this is what a good TV show, a good movie wants you to do. Now, it has its flaws. It's not perfect. There's some episodes that's I really don't care. But season 6 of the Clone Wars was cut short for whatever reason. I'm not really sure the reason. But so it's not really considered season 6 because there's only so many episodes, but season 7 was able to bring they get, I think, 12 or something episodes, something like that, for, to end the series, the Clone Wars series, the way they truly wanted to. And it's really great at allowing you to build a connection between the story itself, the characters, and just everything involved. You know, you feel like you're there, and that's one of the reasons I love Star Wars to begin with. It makes you feel like you are actually in a galaxy far, far away. And so the fifth and final reason you should watch Star Wars is because if you've ever seen the prequel trilogy, you know, The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith, you know that between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, there is an empty space, pretty much, because Attack of the Clones ends with the clones being on the side of the Republic and working with the Jedi. And if you haven't seen Star Wars, spoiler warning, the clone troopers turn on the Jedi during Order 66 and Revenge of the Sith. And it never really made sense, you know, if you watch it, how it just goes from one to the other. I know there's a 10 plus year period between the two movies, at least, you know, story wise, but it never really filled in, you know, who was Grievous, why was he so important in this series. We never found that out in Star Wars. You know, we never found out why the clones followed Order 66. We never found out or got to see, you know, the clones really in action at all. And so that's where the Clone Wars comes in, because it builds in that storyline between the events of Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. So it fills in that period, you know, and we get to see the clones in action a lot more, and they make the clones seem very important in this series. You know, when you watch Star Wars, you're like, oh, they're just people here just to, you know, fight the battles, and they're gonna die and they're gonna get killed. That's what happens in war, right? But in the Clone Wars, when they build up this storyline of what happens between the two movies, they really make you connect with a lot of the clone troopers, and they keep bringing those troopers back for different missions because they're part of, you know, either Anakin or Obi-Wan's battalions, and so we get to see a lot more of those, and again, it helps build the characters, but it really fills in, you know, and shows what actually happened between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. And, you know, Attack of the Clones wasn't my favorite movie, but when it introduced the clones, I was like, okay, these are going to be cool. I want to see more of these. And then, really, they turned on them in Revenge of the Sith, and I was just like, okay, well, what happened, you know, in between? They were, like, friends with them, and now all of a sudden they're turning on them. But that's where Clone Wars was able to really fill in that gap. It's kind of like what Rogue One did for Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. You know, it shows some of the stuff that happened between those two movies, where the people go and get the Death Star plans, and it leads up to the beginning of A New Hope. And so they were just really good at filling in the blanks, and having a lot of stuff that, like, you never would have really thought about happening, you know, how there was other storylines going on inside the big picture. You know, the big picture was the Republic versus the Separatists, the clone troopers versus the battle droids, you know, and they'd come together and fight in different battles all across the galaxy, because this was a galaxy-wide war. But they allowed you to see that there's other planets out there other than just Coruscant, Naboo, and Geonosis, pretty much, that we find out about in the original movies. So it's just, overall, the Clone Wars is really fantastic at building characters, introducing characters, filling in the blank space between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and, you know, explaining why or how different missions occurred or different things happened. And it was really great to see how they incorporated movies into an animated TV show using the same lore and canon material that they've had when they made the movies, but being able to put it in here and add in new stuff, new characters. You know, it was just really great at doing that, and I really enjoy the Clone Wars, and I think you will too if you're into Star, even if you're not the biggest fan of Star Wars, but if you even just like the Star Wars franchise even a little bit, I think you should check out the Clone Wars, because it really is a great series to watch. And you know, you don't get a bunch of TV series like this where it actually does all this stuff that I talked about and is really good at doing it. You know, there's some that are like, okay, I like this, but I don't like this about it. The Clone Wars doesn't have too many bad moments in it, at least in my opinion. So I do recommend you check it out. And so that was my top 5 reasons why you should watch Star Wars The Clone Wars, whether it be on Disney Plus or however you end up checking it out. But you definitely do have to watch them in order, so you can't just go watch season 7 and then think you'll be fine. You have to watch seasons 1 through 6 first. But other than that, it's pretty much a well put together series, and I really enjoy it. And I'm just a Star Wars fan, so I'm probably going to enjoy most anything Star Wars. But that's my video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope you do go check out Star Wars The Clone Wars, because it really is a great series. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.